Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox, and I don't know, I've been getting some weird comments. Weird might be too harsh of a term. Comments on some of my videos questioning on what my stance is vis-a-vis the police or whatever. So let's just set the record straight, shall we? Before we get to that, I guess, a little bit of my background. When I was in Special Forces, I trained a lot of law enforcement officers. It's just one of those things we did, of all kinds. And I worked exercises with lots of law enforcement officers. I mean, I'm talking hundreds, right? I trained some pretty specialized units that I don't need to go into here, but I did. Me and my men. Right? And then when I retired, I went to work as a contractor, and I trained law enforcement, primarily SWAT type guys. And I did that for a while. And so I have trained a lot of law enforcement officers, and I hung out with them, and I think I've gotten to know them as well as I know other people. When I was a firefighter, I interacted with a lot of law enforcement on and off the job. You just kind of hang out. And so here's my view on law enforcement officers in general, right? Because one can make generalizations against groups of people. The problem comes when you try to apply that generalization to an individual. Generally speaking, law enforcement officers, cops, feds, whatever, are good guys, right? And gals to a degree. I'm not so cool on females being in law enforcement, just like I'm not so cool on females being in the military, because my way of thinking, I get shot and fall down, I want somebody at least as strong as me to be able to pull me out of the way, not some girl that got in there because we need to let girls in. Standards, right? But they have a role. I'm not being totally misogynistic here. Generally speaking, they're good people. They're hardworking people. They're American apple pie. They're married. They have kids. Their kids play football and baseball, and they have all the same issues that all other Americans do. They don't make very much money, especially for what they do, the hours they pull, the stress they're under, and we need them. Bottom line, we need police officers and law enforcement in this nation. And so that's my view on them. Now, are there bad cops? Absolutely. There's bad garbage men, too. There's bad, give me a job, sweetie. School teachers. Bad grocery store managers. There are bad people out there. The problem becomes law enforcement officers, when they go bad, have the ability to do a lot more harm, right? Which is why I think, and I got this attitude, I think, from being in the military when I was in, if an officer screwed up, unless he was a general officer, he got hammered a lot harder than if a private screwed up, right? Messed up. Deservedly so. More responsibility, more authority, you're held to it, right? And so I think if a law enforcement officer messes up, they ought to get hammered. Hammered. Go to jail forever, man, if you abuse the authority. Which you're invested. And so, yeah, there are bad cops. But the vast majority of them are normal people. Now, there's another dynamic that's out there with law enforcement officers, in my experience. The closer you get to the inner city, the worse they are. The further you get out into the country, the better they are as people. You know what? You can make that same generalization about regular people. The closer you get to the inner city, as a rule, the worse the people are. The further you get out into the countryside, the better they are. And it's not just Americans. Thailand. I love Thailand. I considered moving to Thailand. There is no way that I would live in Bangkok or Chiang Mai. Nah. I want to live out in the countryside with the people. The real people. So people are people, So I have not changed my opinion on law enforcement. If I'm sitting in a pizza restaurant and I'm talking to the guy in line or the guy at the next table and it gets around to what do you do and he says I'm a cop, that's a plus in my book. So that should be clear. I should be clear now. I am not anti-authority in that way. I am very anti-bad cop. There are bad cops out there. I just said it in a recent video. Cops need to start policing their own harder. Don't put up with that garbage. Don't put up with the comments that you hear in the changing room, in the ready room, in the break room, and in the patrol car and stuff like that. Change that attitude of the people. All right, that's what I think. That's enough for now. I'll see you out there.